On March 2nd, 2026, Boynton Beach Police arrested Schneider Galen on 2 felony counts. This analysis focuses on the legal issues raised by the encounter.
Yeah, of course.
What's permission for Publix?
Oh, Moscow.
Thank you, sir.
Moscow. Yeah, we used to before.
Yeah, we made it.
Alright, what's going on?
So I had an investigation. I did. Basically, we have a customer service team leader who, over the course of 4 months, took just over $7,000 in cash.
Okay.
He was doing fraudulent refunds.
Okay.
And I got everything
in a folder?
We got USB stick.
So what's on this USB thing?
The video this is actually in the USB, so you can print out that, and the video that corresponds to.
Do you need this folder?
No, just.
So what's the video of?
The video are of the transactions of him doing the transactions.
So he's been fraudulent refunds, meaning like.
So he would go up to the register, act like he's doing a refund for someone, but no one was there.
Yeah.
And he would then go around and he'd pocket the cash.
He pocket the cash. Okay.
Yeah. So we interviewed him. So
where is he?
In that office over there.
He's in that office?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you guys start from the beginning because I need to write down stuff. So what's your name? You have an ID with you? Just run me through from pretty much beginning to end. Like how you caught onto it. Just run me through everything.
Okay. Can you come here and just close the door real quick? I'm sorry. There's no associate. Huh? Someone's in there with him right now. He ain't going anywhere. I just did associates not come in stick. You know how everybody can be. So I'm not trying to be rude. It's just a lot more. No, so basically, there was a report that was run that showed a suspicious amount of returns that were done in the store. After investigating it, we found that he was doing the fraudulent refunds, where he'd go to the register, he'd process a refund. He would either go and he'd put it in a little blue pouch, put the money in there, and then walk over in the hallway and conceal it, or he would walk around the store after getting change and then pocket it. All the video is in the USB stick that does show. Basically, it's step by step of what occurred. You can watch it and see everything. For each transaction is listed.
Yeah.
And the printout for this is in there.
Carl 10-4.
He admitted to it. He admitted to everything.
What's that?
14-4. 60.
Is the original?
That's the original. Copy.
So all right, so you got a report back of suspicious activity that you guys were losing money?
Yes.
Okay, and then you guys investigated it. Using the footage, and you found that he was the one. He was the one. All right, so he would go to a register that no one was at, pretend to refund something, and then he would pocket the cash.
And there was a couple times where he actually, in between a transaction, because he was a manager, so in between the transaction, he would stop the transaction and do a refund really quick, and then act like he's doing a cash pickup and take the cash out of the drawer and put it in the blue bag and then walk away. So he did it a couple different ways.
Okay. And then you're saying he would walk around the store and then either put it in a blue bag or pocket it.
He's a team leader. I apologize. Not a manager.
Team leader. Okay.
A team leader, customer service team leader.
Okay. And you guys obviously want to press charges.
Yes.
Okay.
He voluntarily admitted to what he did. He was honest. Came forth with it. And
All right, can you just raise your right hand for me? You swear and affirm that everything you told me is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you. Can you guys just walk me to him?
How you doing? Hey, how's it going? What's your name?
Schneider.
Nice to meet you. I'm Officer Winkles. This is Officer Moscow, all right? So I do have something to read you, all right? I'm required to warn you before you make any statement that you have the following constitutional rights. You have the right to remain silent and not answer any questions. Any statement can and will be used against you in the court of law. All right. With that being said, you want to speak with us? You want to let us know what happened today?
Yeah. He basically did the investigation and I told him the truth.
So just take us through beginning to end, really. So what's going on?
Honestly, I just felt a little pressure.
You felt pressure?
Was it financial issues at home or something?
Home, and I got a surprise that my lady told me she was pregnant. So.
Gotcha. All right. I get that. Look, my girlfriend's pregnant too, and money's tight, so I get it, but it's not the way you go about it. You don't shit where you eat, you know?
I understand.
So when was the first time that you did this?
Like I told him, I can't put a date on it, but I know it's somewhere in October.
In October, you start? Okay, so just take me through your process of like how are you doing it?
It was just like a refund. You process a refund, take the money, and put it in the deposit.
Probably
Okay. Let's see. What's your first name?
Schneider.
Store. Store was asked questions today about prevention laws. On a special front, I stated I was doing fraudulent returns for at least 32 times.
That was from October until November.
You did about 32 times, you're saying?
That's the estimate that he came up with now.
32 times for at least totaling of 7,000. I stayed in I walk up to the return and grab the money, put it in a blue pile, walk to this. What is it? Walk to the scheduled pocket.
Walk to the schedule. Like there's a schedule that's on the wall. It's like right by it.
Okay, what's that for?
It's for us to look at. No one comes around it.
Okay. Oh, I see. Walk to the schedule and pocket the money. And I would grab change to walking on. My girlfriend's pregnant. Okay. So you understand you're going to be under arrest today, right?
Issue 1, Miranda. Under Miranda v. Arizona, 384 U.S. 436, 1966, a custodial interrogation requires officers to advise a suspect of 4 rights: the right to remain silent, that any statement can be used against them, the right to consult an attorney, and the right to appointed counsel if they cannot afford one. Officer Winkles administered a warning that covered only the first 2. The right to counsel, both retained and appointed, was not explicitly stated on camera. Under Berkemer v. McCarty, 468 U.S. 420, 1984, custodial status is determined by whether a reasonable person would feel free to leave, regardless of the offense's severity. Schneider was already in custody when questioned inside that manager's office. His post-advisement statements are therefore subject to a Fifth Amendment suppression motion. Whether the motion succeeds depends on whether the full warning card was read before the Bodycam captured the advisement. Defense counsel will argue the record as it exists. Issue 2. The charges. Count 1 is grand theft under Florida Statute 812.014, subsection 2C1. Theft of property valued between $750 and $20,000 constitutes a third-degree felony, punishable by up to 5 years in prison. The $7,000 loss satisfies this threshold. Count 2 is organized scheme to defraud under Florida Statute 817.034, subsection 4A3. This statute requires a systematic, ongoing course of conduct with intent to defraud. 32 transactions over 4 months using a consistent method satisfies every element. At a total value under $20,000, this is also a third-degree felony. Each count carries a maximum of 5 years in Florida State Prison. Issue 3. Independent Source Doctrine. Under Murray v. United States, 487 U.S. 533, 1988, evidence obtained through a source independent of any constitutional violation remains fully admissible. The public surveillance footage and transaction records were secured by loss prevention before officers arrived. This evidence stands independently. The confession was corroborative, not foundational. Even if a suppression motion succeeds, the prosecution retains the stronger of its two evidentiary pillars. The grades. Officer Winkles receives an A-. Interview technique and de-escalation were excellent. The incomplete Miranda advisement, however, introduces avoidable suppression exposure into an otherwise clean case. Officer Moscow receives a B+ for professional, appropriate conduct throughout in a supporting role. Schneider Galen receives a B for the encounter itself. Full voluntary cooperation is commendable. Waiving counsel before speaking, however, was not in his legal interest, regardless of his intent to cooperate. Lessons learned. For law enforcement, a complete Miranda warning protects both the subject and the prosecution. Abbreviated advisements introduce suppression risk into cases that do not otherwise require it. For subjects, invoking the right to an attorney before speaking is always the legally prudent choice, regardless of intent to cooperate. A cooperative subject can still cooperate after consulting counsel. Let us know if there is an interaction or legal topic you would like us to cover in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to check out our second channel, Street Bodycam, for more police interaction and courtroom content.